Could Metroid Prime 4 be shown off at the Game Awards? Yeah, it will be, and here's why. What's going on, guys? It's Thomas on the Switch Stop, and this is a theory that I'm really confident in. I truly believe Metroid Prime 4 will be shown off at the Game Awards, and if not, then this is a crap ton of coincidences. So first of all, we already know Nintendo's announcing at least something at the Game Awards. They've tweeted out, clear your calendars, like, watch the Game Awards, tune in, and then Jeff Keighley, the runner of the Game Awards, has said multiple times, like, we're having a ton of world premieres, so it's gonna be great. So it's basically like Nintendo's doing something at the Game Awards. They showed off Zelda at the Game Awards last year. They will do something at the Game Awards. So how do we think it's going to be Metroid? Well, this goes back to the Wii era. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword was an amazing game that critics loved. It came out on the old Wii, not the Wii U, and then ever since then, Zelda on a home console has been quiet. However, there were a pair of Zelda 3DS games. One of them was quite well received in A Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds. In a remake/reboot of the second ever Legend of Zelda, this game on the 3DS was loved by critics and fans alike. Then there was The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes, which was a pretty good game. It just didn't really get the critical reception even close to A Link Between Worlds. The Zelda home console franchise, however, was dormant until 2015 E3, where footage of the new game Zelda Wii U was shown, which we later know to be Breath of the Wild. Jump all the way back into the Wii, and we get to what this whole video is about, Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime 3 on the Wii was a critically loved game, but then after it, the Metroid Prime series went dormant. Now, before Metroid Prime's return to home console, we got a pair of Metroid 3DS games. One was really well received in Metroid Samus Returns, and the other one, well, let's just say it didn't do as well as Samus Returns in Metroid Prime Federation Force. Samus Returns, however, was a great remake of Metroid 2, The Return of Samus. Then Metroid Prime 4 gets announced at E3. Okay, so far we've had some really weird coincidences, such as both very successful games on the Wii, then dormant franchise on home consoles, but they both had pretty good 3DS lineups featuring a very successful remake/reboot of the second game in the series, and then a less well received, still pretty good, multiplayer game. What the hell? Then, as we all know, the first gameplay of The Legend of Zelda, still called Legend of Zelda U, but as we know it, Breath of the Wild, was shown at the Game Awards just a year after the reveal. Could Metroid Prime follow that exact same thing, and the first actual gameplay of it is shown at the Game Awards after a short little trailer that didn't really show us anything about the actual game was shown at E3 prior to the Game Awards? I mean, that's a pretty crazy statement, and it's really a ton of coincidences, but there's only so many times you can say, oh, that's just a coincidence, and brush over it, until you have to look at it and say, okay, this could actually be a thing. Now, obviously, you'll probably say that this probably won't happen, and I mean, honestly, I'd be surprised if it didn't happen, but it wouldn't be the biggest shock. However, I'm really confident that this is a thing, because if you look at the trend with Breath of the Wild, it literally matches the same. And there's also the fact that Breath of the Wild did, as we know, amazingly well, so maybe they'll follow pretty much the same schedule because they know that it worked before with Breath of the Wild, and they assume it'll work once again with Metroid Prime 4. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait for the Game Awards. I hope you guys are excited as well. Once again, thanks, and peace out.